recent? Because there's a new one that's out.
This is just today.
Oh yeah,
just now.
There's one like an hour ago. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Top of the news feed there. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to go. What do we got here?
AFC North.
Iowa State gambling.
Yep, and now it's getting worse.
The game is going to have to do with the Big Ten.
I figured.
Yeah, well, and it's barely a game. It just was a way to make it more interesting to talk about. So you'll see what I mean. It's basically how we would talk about it in game form. That's all.
I like it.
So then you have the bring up the Yankees.
Yeah,
at the poker table, so they bring just hammering the Yankees.
Yep,
it's unbelievable.
Sounds familiar.
And then trivia.
That's it, brother.
All right, let me fire this thing up and we'll be ready to go. You have a little cocktail there?
I do. A little vodka.
A little T&B for me. Check.
You go tonic over club, huh?
No, this is tea, like iced tea.
Oh.
Yeah, not tonic.
Oh.
I've had vodka tonic, but very rarely.
Yeah.
I never realized how much sugar is in tonic water or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Might as well just use the damn Coke. I had no idea. I really had no idea. So, all right, we're good to go.
Light it up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bump and Run. I'm Pete Calisano, joined, as always, by the man, my good friend, Scott Bracey. What's going on, dude?
Hello, Peter. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
It is amazing to me how this time of year just brings out a different version of me, for sure. I think us as well, just because there's between camps and football news and upcoming stuff, it just seems like there's just something new every day, and there's plenty for us to talk about again. Today we'll be doing our AFC North. We have some fascinating things going on down there in Iowa State. I guess if you think about it, like, it's not your typical college. And it's like, well, let's spice things up a little bit, and we'll get into that in a little while. You'll fill us in on all the details with that one. And some Big Ten news, possible, interesting, moving parts. We'll see how that looks. The Yankees, very interesting trade deadline. Kind of surprising, especially considering who they are. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, we're going to hit some trivia. So why don't we get started right away with the AFC North preview?
AFC North, Peter, the Cincinnati Bengals, last year's champions. They lost a lot in the secondary. They lost Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Eli Apple. They had drafted 2 guys the year before, and I think they drafted more guys this year as well in the later rounds. They lost backup running back Samaje Perine, who was huge for them.
I was going to say, that stings more than most people would kind of consider.
Especially with Joe Mixon getting a little older, banged up
on the tires, man. Yeah, there's a lot of wear, and it happens really freaking quickly with these poor running backs, man.
Yeah, I think they drafted a defensive end rusher. They drafted a corner. They drafted another safety. So they know what they're doing.
Isn't it amazing we're saying that about the Cincinnati Bengals, that they know what they're doing? For the longest time, dude.
It's different now, dude. It's a quick turnaround when you get the right guys running the ship. It's just different.
Absolutely. And you get the right quarterback.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they're still cheap on offense. Well, that's not going to be the case going forward soon.
Yep, there's a payday coming, but not quite yet.
We will see. Burrow a little banged up already in camp, going to miss some time. I don't know if that's going to affect the flow of the offense per se, but not something you want going.
Yeah, I don't think so. Listen, same system, same quarterback, same receivers, nothing changes. I don't see much of a hiccup as far as, like, you know, their timing or all that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about that at all. I do just worry, like, of all the top quarterbacks in the league, and Joe Burrow at this point, folks, is right up there, top 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to call it. I'm not looking for that argument today, but he's there. He's the one that gets banged up a little bit, and that does make me a little nervous. We've had the ACL tear. Last year, they revamped the line. It didn't start well. It got better as the season went on. But he's really taken for a top flight quarterback. He's taken a lot of hits in this short time that he's been in the league. Now Josh Allen has too, but Josh Allen is twice the size of him, and he's kind of delivering. Those are from running the ball. It's a little different. I don't like that either, but it's a little different. It's a lot different when you're just in the pocket and you get smoked and stuff like that. This was a non-contact injury. I watched it. It didn't look good because he starts hopping around. I don't know if that was totally out of caution, but what'd they say, 2 to 4 weeks that he's out?
Yeah.
Bothers me a little, but not too much. If he was a rookie or second year, I'd be a lot more nervous. But with him and those guys, those receivers, they know each other so well. I don't think it's going to cost very much. As long as he's okay. That's the key, right? That's really what it'll be the key, is that he comes back ready to go.
Right. A little schedule look ahead. Ravens week 2, at Niners week 8. Dude,
that Ravens game is home.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because, will Burrow be back? Will he be a full
That's
strength?
why I put it there instead of
course.
giving it
And it's a conference, you're probably a league rival, division rival, sorry. And it'll be interesting. Yeah, that's what makes that game even more interesting. So
Buffalo week 9, we had that a couple weeks ago with DeMar Hamlin.
Hell yeah.
At Jaguars week 13, Vikings week 15, at Steelers week 16, and at Chiefs week 17. Dude, the end of their schedule is rough.
Brutal, especially obviously the Chiefs, it's obvious, but especially with someone like Pittsburgh, with Pickett in his second year, are they an ascending team? And you're catching him at the end of the season where now he's got another full season under his belt. Now you're fighting for a playoff spot. That could be, I know people are a little down on Pittsburgh, maybe because of the whole Kenny Pickett, but the way they finished the season last year and coming into this year, if they got some momentum, that's a really tough stretch at the end of the season there for them.
I don't know what Minnesota's going to look like without Dalvin Cook, but I feel like they know what they're doing. They let him go. Maybe
I don't worry about.
I don't either.
I don't worry about that kind of stuff. Even with the Jets, everybody freaking out, oh, they should get Dalvin Cook. I'm like, dude, whatever. I'm not going to get fired up about Dalvin Cook. I'm just not.
And say what you want about Kirk. The guy, they score points, dude, in Minnesota. So
dude, he throws 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions every year, like with almost 5,000 yards passing. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Less than 10 interceptions a lot of times.
Yep.
So, he gets an unfair rap. His rap, though, the legit part is, he doesn't, in big games and night games on TV, he doesn't always show out. But week to week, you can't argue with what the numbers are. Anyway, it's a rough stretch for Cincinnati, especially, they've been in the AFC Championship game or right there the last couple of years. That's a hell of a way to end the season going into the playoffs. That's tough.
The Baltimore Ravens, they extended Lamar. They put the Lamar drama to bed after over a year of mom's the agent. What's going on? He's not doing the right thing. We can't throw, blah, blah, blah.
And with that, now we'll find out what we've been talking about for a couple years, which is now you're paying him all the money. You're going to have to cut back somewhere else, and probably multiple somewhere else's.
Yep.
And you're going to have to be the man that carries the team. Do I think he can do it? For the most part. I've said this from day one of this podcast. I don't think if he's healthy, assuming he's healthy, I don't think you ever lose. I don't think you ever win less than 10 games. I just don't think you win a Super Bowl either. So it's good to have him in, have him happy. I think that's huge. Your biggest, face of the franchise, you want him happy and in camp and ready to go. So at least that drama is behind him.
Added weapons, Odell Beckham. I don't know what he's got in the tank.
I was just going to ask you, what do you really think of that?
I don't know. I
don't either.
I don't know. I have no feel on it, dude. I think if he's good, he's going to be outstanding.
Look at what he did when he went to the Rams.
I know.
It was impressive.
I agree.
But now another ACL sat out a whole year. That can't be good, dude. We talked about this with the COVID year where kids didn't play and then they got drafted and some of them struggled because they hadn't played for a while. Le'Veon Bell later in his career sat out the year, was never the same. He's come out within the last month. He's come out and said, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably screwed myself by doing that. So
he was healthy, and there was
well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, like
Beckham really had no true. I think Beckham
Right.
Beckham might have played it a little smart by sitting out
I
a
don't
year.
think he was nearly as everybody was like.
Oh no, I agree.
He wasn't ready to play, or else he would have been out on a field
But
somewhere
listen,
making
he
videos.
didn't force it, so it's
No.
kind of a good move. I think he matured a little bit. They added Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers, who people are raving about.
I do like him.
I got to tell you, I didn't watch many Boston College games. I know a little bit about him. I don't know. I know he's a good route runner.
So what I look at when I see a player like that is there's not a lot of really. I'm sure he was like light years ahead of the next best wide receiver at Boston College, which means defenses are probably double covering or having a guy on him and another guy over the top deep, and he still put up big time numbers. Like when I see that to me is more impressive than like, you go to Alabama and there's three guys that are all Americans. Well, or Ohio State always having. Think of they had Njigba, Garrett Wilson, and
Olave,
Harrison
Jr. on the bench,
all at the same time. So like, how impressive is Flowers that he put up the numbers that he did, and no one else was even close, and everybody that they played against knew it. So right. I like guys like that. I expect good things
from them. Defense, pretty much always a Ravens defense, pretty good. Always in the top 10. They drafted heavy last 2 out of 3 years. Those guys are coming into their own.
Dip. Yeah, they did take a dip there.
Yeah,
for
they're
a couple
older
years.
in spots. Calais Campbell up front and then linebacker, so they got a little younger.
Excellent.
Schedule at 2 Bengals, at Steelers week 5, Detroit home week 7. I can't believe I'm highlighting the Lions this year.
Isn't that something?
It's something. It's cool. At the Chargers week 12, at the Jaguars week 15, at the Niners week 16, and Dolphins home week 17. The AFC, they did not do the AFC North any favors here with this.
No, man, those closeouts with both of those first 2 teams, those are interesting.
Doesn't get any better with the next 2 teams either.
Is that Miami game? Is it at Miami?
No, home.
Home. Okay. I was gonna say if it's at Miami and you just get one of those like hot Miami days, late in the season like that, that could have been so interesting.
I know.
They're a cold weather team, and then you've been cold, and then suddenly you're down in Miami. Anyway, it's not happening. But by the way, I just wanted to bring this up. Dan Campbell made some news this week that he came because we were just talking about the Lions. He wanted to have a live lion on the sidelines during practice at camp this year, man. Guy's just a freaking maniac. And you can see why
he's the best.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The third place team last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers, added wide receiver Allen Robinson. I think he's a perfect third to go with Deontay Johnson and George Pickens or whatever his first name is.
Mm-hmm.
They had Patrick Peterson on defense. He's not the guy that once was a stud, but he's still pretty
Savvy
good
veteran.
and adds a lot of leadership that they need out there. Him and Minka in the backfield, pretty good.
If he can stay healthy, and you Minka Fitzpatrick to stay healthy. So
they lost 4 defensive starters. And they drafted Joey Porter Jr., Joey Porter Sr. stud Steeler coach and player.
So what is his son, a corner?
Corner, yeah. Corner, yep. And
Joey Porter was a beast, by the way, dude.
He was a maniac.
Jesus. There was a stretch of 3-4 years where he was just a menace.
They had a couple like
they did.
Like
James Harrison.
Maniacs, Levon Kirkland, Kevin Green,
Yes.
Yeah.
They had some
Lamar Woodley. They had some studs, man. But
shit, yeah.
Mike Tomlin still going strong. Guy has yet to have a losing season.
Incredible.
In the black and gold. The schedule, another barn burner here, dude. Week 1 Niners at home out of the gate. Week 5 Ravens. Week 7 at Rams. Week 8 Jaguars home. Week 12 at Bengals. Week 17 at Seattle. That could be a really, really tricky game.
That's
for both teams.
Shit, yeah.
And week 18 at the Ravens.
Beautiful.
I know, isn't it?
Beautiful.
So good.
I know we'll get to it in a couple of weeks, but Seattle to me is just such a wild card. We'll talk about them soon, but will Geno Smith do it again? What about the rest of the division? Is Pete Carroll getting older? Getting too old, I should say. Of course, he's getting older. We all are, but it's just, can they do it again? Can they surprise people again? I don't know. Just interesting. Anyway, by then we'll know. By that point in the season when they play Pittsburgh, we'll know at that point. And the other thing is, obviously, with the Steelers, it's the Kenny Pickett factor, right? Like, do you have your guy? We talked about this. I asked you this when we did like which is more likely a couple weeks ago. We played the game which is more likely, or maybe it was last week. And I said, is he the man? You tend to believe he is. Not sure. Neither of us is sure if he's a Super Bowl quarterback just yet. I certainly don't like the gloves. But that's the question. That's the biggest question that needs to be answered in Steeltown this year is Kenny Pickett your guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what we think, but we'll see it. And they definitely need to I hope they made some upgrades on that offensive line, especially with a young quarterback. Help him with a running game. Help him with protection. That would be nice because it wasn't that great last year.
They're deep at tight end too. If they only have maybe 3 or maybe 3.5 wide receivers, they're very deep at tight end. Fire move. They got the kid Washington out of Georgia, who's an absolute monster, and then Gentry's a good red zone guy. He's like 6'7". So
yeah, it's just a quarter. They always tell you, young quarterback's best friend is tight end.
Yep. So. And that leads us to the Cleveland Browns. Added a ton of defense. One of the most important things for the Browns, a quiet offseason. Deshaun Watson.
He opened his mouth last week again about
but that was camp started. I mean, you're in camp, you're gonna get questions asked. I just kind of mean the whole thing.
He made some kind of dumb statement like that. The media blew it out of proportion. What happened? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not blown out of proportion. Like, you got caught. That's what's blown out of proportion. Like, anyway, just shut your mouth when that shit comes up about your dick massages. Just shut the hell up and just take it. Just don't fire back, man. It's gross and it turns a lot of people off.
I mean, as soon as things get quiet, dude, let it go. It's
amazing, dude. Even if you just say, "Hey, man, it's in the past. We've dealt with it. I'm trying to move forward from it. That's it. Leave it at that."
The guy had such good reputation coming out of Clemson.
Oh my God, he's squeaky clean.
Nuts.
And now he's just squeaky from the hand jobs. It's amazing what a turn of events there's been.
Well, they got one of the best running backs in the league. I don't know what they're a wide receiver. They got two decent guys. I don't know, tight end. I don't know. Their line's usually pretty good. Got banged up bad last year. Defensively, who knows, man? They lost. Myles Garrett's great, but I mean, at some point, you want to have another guy on the other side to help him out. They let go of Jadeveon Clowney, I think. I think he's unsigned. He's unsigned, and he sucks anyway. So yeah, he did not have a great he's career. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Week 2 at Steelers. Week 4. Well, let me just say this before you go on to the schedule. Sorry, I just want to say, do you think? I mean, even before the massage stuff, he was holding out with Houston. Before that, dude, Deshaun Watson was top 5, top 6, top 7 quarterbacks in the league. Yep. MVP candidate. A few years back at Houston, at Kansas City, fighting for to get to the AFC Championship game. After what you saw last year and who they had, do you think he can get back to that? Or even come close to getting back to that? I think he could come close. I don't know if he's got the weapons like he had in Houston with Hopkins and
sure.
I don't know.
You know what I didn't see last year? I didn't see, incremental improvement as the season went on. Once he finally came in and started, I didn't see him getting better, knocking a little bit of the rust off. It just kind of was what it was.
Yeah,
that scares me a little bit.
I agree.
Now the good thing for him that'll help is that it's the second year in the same system. He wasn't even allowed to practice with those guys early in the season. That suspension, he wasn't allowed to practice until 2 weeks before he was eligible to play.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll help. But man, it's just such a question mark. And what's fucking crazy is if he sucks again, the coach will get fired. But he'll have a job because he's got a fucking guaranteed contract. A fully guaranteed contract, which is bananas, right?
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Management may have made a shitty decision, and the head coach will get canned for it. And maybe the GM would too. I suppose you would too.
Week 2 at Steelers. Week 4 Ravens home. Week 6 Niners home. Week 8 at Seattle. Week 12 at Broncos. Week 13 at Rams. Week 14 Jaguars home. Week 17 Jets home. And Week 18 at Bengals. Good luck and good night.
That was it week 16 versus the Jets?
17.
17, like second
Thursday
to last
night after
Dude.
Christmas.
Now, who knows how either season's going to go, but I think both teams have like some expectations. Maybe the Jets have higher expectations, but boy, could that be a big game, like for the last playoff wild card spot or something
You should
like
get
that.
tickets and go. Sit in the cold and
Hell no.
and watch a 13-9 game.
I got a great seat right here.
Rosie, come on, do me a favor. Get Peter tickets for Christmas, week 17. Bring a parka.
No, thanks. I like watching the games in shorts.
You're going to be shocked at the way I got them finishing up here, brother.
Let's hear it.
In last place, I got the Browns. I think just by process of elimination. I got to tell you the truth. I'm not too confident on any of these selections. It's a very, very tight, tough division.
I'm with you on that.
Week 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Third place.
I think their schedule is brutal, late. I don't like Burrow limping into the year. I think they can get off to maybe a slow start. I don't like that.
That does bother me a little.
I don't like that, especially in that division, especially what you got later on. Week 2, I got the Steelers, and I'll tell you why. Very quiet. Very calm, going about his business. Kenny Pickett, good running game. Pickens is unbelievable. You got a guy like that outside, get you out of a lot of trouble.
Shit.
Defense is always pretty good. Tomlin knows what he's doing. Let's be honest. I know a lot of Steelers fans are sick of him, but the guy knows what he's doing. And week 1, I got the Ravens, and I went like this because of you mostly. They're going to win 10, 11 games with a healthy Lamar no matter what.
Absolutely.
Still young enough. They got him some help outside. You got to think they're working on the passing game. He's got one of the best tight ends in the league. Defense is younger and improving, I think. Special teams best in the league as well. And Harbaugh, another guy that knows what he's doing for a long time.
Yep.
So I got Ravens 1, Steelers 2, Bengals 3, Browns 4.
Okay, so I have the Browns in last also. It's less an indictment on them as it is the strength of the rest of the division to me. So I'm not trying to like bash the Browns or anything like that. I think it'll be close with them and the Steelers in third. He's the youngest, most unproven quarterback in the whole division, and I don't think you can make that big of a leap that quickly. We shall see. We both like him, so we'll see. And you're 100% right. That defense is going to keep them in games no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do find a decent running game and he's pretty close to what we think he could be, that could change. But until it does, I just don't see him leapfrogging those top 2 teams. In second place, I do have Baltimore. And for one reason above all else, new offensive coordinator this year. And I don't know. I'm hearing all this talk about less running for Lamar, more throwing. He can throw the ball. Folks, the only reason Lamar Jackson got the money and he's in the league is because of what he could do with his legs. He's average at best as a passer. He's above average as a passer because he can run. And the threat of running makes him a better passer because you have to pay attention to that. So the whole new coordinator thing, the old coordinator, they had him, what was the guy's name? Remember who the hell the old coordinator was? Shit, they brought him in from San Francisco. He was with Kaepernick. And
Yep.
The whole reason they brought him in was because he knew how to work with a running quarterback. And I think now you're getting the offensive coordinator from Georgia or something like that.
Yeah, Todd Monken.
Who I think is good. But so that's why, to me, I'm putting them in second because I think there's a growing period that has to go on there, an adjustment period. And if they're really taking the tact that they don't want him running nearly as much, then I like him even less because that's what makes him exciting, makes him a winner. I don't see why you do that. I think you run the horse the way he runs until he's done, and that's it. And then obviously first place, again, you're right. I do not like them physically limping into the season. But if this was Jordan Love, when this was Zach Wilson last year, it would bother me a little more. Like I'd be a little more nervous. These guys have gone to Super Bowls together. They've gone to multiple AFC championship games together. I just don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm way more concerned that it heals fully than I am concerned about how it affects them coming into the season and stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking. I just can't. I have no good reason other than Joe Burrow's calf to knock them out of first.
Greg Roman was the guy you're looking for.
Correct. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he was brought in specifically to work with Lamar because he had worked with Kaepernick and it
worked for a while.
It worked all the time.
Yeah,
It didn't not
Did
work.
he retire or did he get forced out?
I think they just said we're going a different direction.
Yeah. All right.
And the curious thing is, who's it, Monken?
Yeah.
It's not like Stetson Bennett was a running quarterback, so it's not like you're bringing in a guy who was working with someone like Lamar Jackson in his previous job. So I don't know. It's just an interesting hire to me. So I don't love it. I just don't love it. Doesn't mean it won't work. I just would prefer a different direction.
I hear you.
Excellent. What do we have now?
AFC West next week.
Absolutely. Your favorite.
Yeah.
Nervous.
Not so much lately.
Last place?
Third place? No. Yeah,
Third
probably.
Place. You believe in the resurrection of Russell Wilson?
No.
Okay. Hey, you got some news out of Iowa State. What the hell was going on out there?
Players are now betting on college football when they're sitting on a college bench.
Like during the game?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they put the bets in before the game, but I'm saying
you never know these days.
Can you imagine having action while you're on the bench? Like, what the hell is going on?
Crazy.
I don't think he played in the game last year, but he had action on a game, backup quarterback, or he was hurt. I don't know what that was situation was. Using his mother's name to put the account in.
Ooh, that was smart, though.
And not the only guy that's done it, to be honest with you. I'm hearing other guys.
Pretty smart.
But what's wrong with the parents?
Maybe they didn't know.
How do you not know? They need a credit card to get the account cooking, don't you?
Well, you might have a credit card. They'll take any credit card once you get your account set up. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, but don't you got to put your name on the card on the thing? Isn't that a red flag?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, once I have the account, I could use your credit card.
That's true.
They don't give a shit.
No, as long as the money's green, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't care. That's freaking crazy, dude. So are you telling me it's multiple players? No, they got multiple players.
Iowa backup kicker today just came out with a story. My buddy Tommy sent me.
Iowa or Iowa State?
Iowa. Now it's the whole goddamn state.
The state. That's what I'm saying. The state it's a boring place to go to school. These kids
they got to put a ring around
they
got to put a ring around the gambling sites in Iowa.
Oh my goodness, that's it. Iowa's got to be off limits. It's pretty crazy. Have there been any talks of suspension? Like, what's going to happen?
I haven't heard anything, but you got to imagine something's going to happen.
Well, yeah, of course. All right, they just got a short period of time to make a decision. I don't think it's that tough a decision to make. But
I don't either.
What are you thinking? Like a 6-game suspension?
I would say games? At least. Yeah, I would say probably. Games. Well, you maybe
you
appeal, but I don't know if you appeal. I don't know if that's going to work either. It's not like the NCAA is not exactly. I got to tell you the truth, man. The NIL, the transfer portal, and then this now, the NCAA is not looking great.
Bro, they have lost total control. They've lost total control.
It's awful.
And that Harbaugh story from last week. What I heard today from Joel Klatt was that he's being suspended more for whatever, deceiving or not. How do I say this without maybe not fully telling the truth to the NCAA when they asked him like what the hell happened. But it really was over a goddamn burger.
I know.
Like you got a meal for a kid, and
I wasn't lying.
No, I know, but I'm just like I'm thinking, well, maybe there's more. Maybe it was a meal and a gold ring, like. And a Mercedes.
It's crazy. I know.
No, it was a freaking burger. So, which makes it even weirder. Why would you lie? Just be like, dude.
Well, their star running back drives around in like a $100,000 truck, and then you can't buy a kid a cheeseburger.
This is what I'm saying. It's so back-ass words, and it's embarrassing. It just makes you look even more buffoonish that you got kids that are getting $8 million signing deals, NIL deals. And you're gonna give a coach a 4-game suspension for a cheeseburger. It just looks Bush League. It looks very Bush League and amateur night. So I don't know who comes down with these decisions, but it's just
you're gonna have news in a minute. You're gonna have a little game for us, but
yes,
between this and the NCAA is a goddamn mess. We're like, dude, playing football for you back in the day, 2001, 2002. Dude, you knew every team in what conference. The games on Thursday nights were great. Florida State, NC State, division game. Dude, Utah and like BYU out early on before the year start. Like now it looks like it's going to like 2 or 3 big divisions. I can't stand it. I don't.
So you're leading me. It's a great segue right there. There was some. There is some news this week about the Big Ten looking to expand the original story was kind of like the Big 10 becoming the Big 20. Like they want to get 20. How many teams are in there right now, including UCLA and USC, even though they're not there?
16?
Those two make it 16?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a number of teams that were rumored to be like on the wish list for the Big 10 to include. I added a couple. There was a couple beyond what I even sent to you, so I'm going to add those in, and then I added one or two more just to think like. So here's the question: Big 10 is looking to expand. There's a bunch of teams. I'm going to give you a team that is rumored to be potential Big 10 material, Big 20 material, and I want to know for you, yes, no, or maybe to that team.
Correct. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to give you the team, and you tell me yes, no, or maybe. The first one is the Washington Huskies.
Yes.
That's a yes for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the Oregon Ducks?
Yes.
That's a yes for you also. Now, are you saying that from the Big 10 perspective or from the team perspective? From the school perspective?
Both.
Okay. So for you, both is a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next one. Florida State.
No.
From a team or from Big 10?
Both and location, and it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I got to tell you the truth, and let me interrupt you 1 second.
No, of course.
I think Washington and Oregon make more sense than USC and UCLA do.
There's an argument for that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Clemson.
No.
Same reasons as FSU?
Yep.
Cal.
Maybe.
Maybe for Cal, maybe for the Big 10.
Maybe for Cal. Big 10 would make a ton of sense, and I think you're going to go Stanford next. Educational-wise,
yes.
Good team, good sports teams. Stanford more than Cal, but Cal brings other sports to the table other than like football and basketball, which is great for like women's sports, stuff like that, baseball. Yep. Stanford's up and down. They go 10 years good, 10 years bad. They've been doing it forever. So, and then academically, you can't argue with it. So.
Yeah, the Big 10 definitely has that reputation, which definitely separates them from the SEC, which is the other mega conference right now, which doesn't seem like they give two shits about academics. So, couple more here. I threw this one in just because I'm interested in where you would think Syracuse to the Big 10.
Wow, that's a good one, Coach. I haven't thought of that. I love it. I love that fit, actually.
Yeah, I threw that in there because I'm like, this is the only one that geographically kind of makes sense. It's a northern team.
I know they threw Rutgers in because like, oh, you got the New York thing, whatever. But nobody like Rutgers is like that.
Plus, to me, like even Syracuse like fits the mold of the Big 10. I know the Big 10 isn't fully just grinded out physical, but like it's a workman's kind of college style of sports that they play. Like
cold, good education. Yeah. Yep.
So I thought that was. And then there's two teams that are rumored to be going to the Big 12, Arizona and Arizona State. You guess no or maybe on those?
No on both.
You're a no on both?
Yeah.
Interesting. I am a no for Washington and Oregon.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why.
Please.
I don't think you're ever able to compete. Like, what sports are you competing in? This is where I have a problem. Like, I know these are decisions that are made almost exclusively based on money. So I get that. But how are you going to compete?
Well,
if you're Washington and Oregon, you were a once every 3 to 6 years competitive with UCLA and USC and like, I don't know, Washington State. I don't know, like you were
Utah.
one in Utah. Well, you know what I mean? Now you still have USC and UCLA. Let's throw Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State in there. You're never competing.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at them saying, let those guys go. We'll stay here. We'll bring some teams in, figure out a way to get Arizona to stay, and you can compete and win a conference championship.
From that point of view, I understand where you're coming from. But, dude, if you're going by competing, what the fuck is Rutgers? But you're going you're going more on their angle than the Big 10 angle. I know what you're saying. Like,
but even with the Big 10, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I truly didn't understand the purpose of USC and UCLA. I don't get why you would want to have these big West Coast teams all the way on the West Coast. I don't understand that. Other than money. I mean, that's what I mean. In the end, it's all about money.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look out for the teams and the players and coaches. And to me, that just doesn't make sense to do that. I don't know why you would do that. So that's it for me. Florida State or Clemson, same thing. I have no comprehension why either of those teams would do it. Your warm weather schools, all your games are basically in warm weather. Even once you make the playoffs, they keep those games down south so that they get good weather.
And even when you go play Syracuse, it's in a dome, so it's like
and it just came out today or recently that I know it kind of Big Ten tends to shy away from night games in November.
Yeah, that's now over.
That's over. So now you're Florida State and you want to go play Michigan on November 3rd at 7:00 at night. They just look out of here. Like, or do you want to play Auburn at 7:00 at night?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it makes no sense.
Exactly what I had in mind too, dude.
And I actually think for Cal and Stanford, it does make sense. So which is weird, right? Because I'm saying no for Oregon and Washington, but they're not championship team. They're not looking for championships anyway.
No.
So you can have this like academic, high academic conference, with the Northwesterns and Michigan and then Cal and Stanford. Like you got really good schools, like really strong academics, which is I think that works, and you can really sell that too. Like we're not the bumblefucks from down south. We're like a real college conference here. And I'm with you 100%. That's why I threw in that Syracuse. I'm like, bro, it's a way. You just like, where's the fit? Like to me, any team that was Big East, it doesn't. I don't know, like ACC, that doesn't work for me. Rutgers and Maryland should have been in the ACC, and Syracuse should have came to the Big Ten. And that would have made a lot more sense to me. Like,
even if you wanted to throw Boston College or Virginia Tech in there, like
it would make more sense.
More Big Ten,
Rutgers and Maryland.
Like
because of style and shit like that. So,
let me ask you a question.
I also think of that way for basketball and other sports. Like it's a nice fit.
Yeah.
Stylistic wise, Syracuse is a nice fit for the Big Ten. So that's just what I think.
Dan Patrick's been talking about this for a couple of days now. I think they've thrown out like this question to a bunch of the guests they've had on. In 5 years, where's Notre Dame?
I mean, they're a natural fit for the Big Ten also. I don't know.
But people are saying they love the independents.
I know, but I don't know why. What
I don't know why either. I don't know.
I mean, I know the TV deal is 100% yours, so there's no sharing.
But now Big Ten plays on NBC now too, dude. It's like
I know. So I don't know what kind of money. I don't know what kind of contract they have with NBC. So, but don't they play in a conference for basketball though? Don't they?
Yeah.
What do they play in?
ACC.
ACC. Yeah, I don't think it's a right fit in the ACC. I think they're a natural fit, geographically especially, for the Big Ten, for sure. I would love to see it. But I suspect they probably would stay independent. Yeah. Which kind of blows. Do you think that hurts them when it comes to the playoffs? Do you think it hurts them or helps them?
I think it helps them. Because they get a little bit of more leeway than everybody else. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, except for the fact that they've got shit on the last few times that they played in the playoffs, and now the leeway might have been cut.
But then they're going to expand, so then your leeway comes back.
Correct. I hear you make a good point. I forgot all about the expansion. It's not going to be 14 much longer. Is this going to be the last year of 14?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I got one more for you, buddy. So I love this topic because we both love college football. What do you think about Oregon going independent? They got the money for it.
Well, yeah, you got Nike money for sure.
Yeah,
but you don't have a TV contract like Notre Dame. That's why it's all about
Florida
money.
State didn't either for a while when they were independent.
That's true. It's a lot different story than it was.
Money's a lot different too now. Money talks, bullshit walks.
Big time. I don't think it's a big enough program to pull that off.
I think Florida State and Penn State actually made the right moves, and I agree with that too. But I think Penn State's perfect in the Big Ten. I think Florida State's great in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, I could see FSU and Clemson going to SEC if a move was a must. Like apparently what I was reading is that Florida State is a little disappointed with the kind of money that they're getting from the ACC.
Yeah, I read that too.
So it's like, again, it's I don't get it. Like I don't know why you would want to play in the SEC except for the money. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. You're in a winnable conference now with a lot of teams that should be better than they've been over the last 5 years. Miami should be better. Clemson has been down the last year or two, but still good.
Yeah.
Florida State,
NC State, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I mean even North Carolina with the kid May this year. Like it should be a better conference than it's been the last couple of years. So I don't know if it's necessary, but they just don't get the revenue that the other conferences get. It always comes down to money, and that's what makes it sad for me, because that doesn't help the kid. That doesn't help up the players on Florida State. So, and I do think it would be a very natural fit for Arizona or Arizona State to go to the Big 12. It just makes a lot of sense. They're right there.
Yep.
Warm weather.
Yep.
Desert. So anyway, that's that.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. We might have some more answers. We'll see. This is like an hour-to-hour thing at this point, dude. It's crazy.
Is absolutely a fact.
The New York Yankees, and I have breaking news as we go to this. This is perfect timing. The Yankees have put Anthony Rizzo on the IL with a concussion, and I think
the question is, will they miss him?
I think it's more of he needs therapy than a concussion at this point. I don't know what the hell is going on. I was at the game Monday. It is just people are pissed off, dude. People are pissed off, and we were ahead of this curve 2 years ago in the same direction.
Absolutely.
With Cashman and Hal and Boone's a puppet and analytics, and they got the wrong analytical team, and they're getting older, and they had these, and then you could go back every summer and listen to my rants if you want, but
how do we know that?
Well, that's what scares the shit out of me, dude.
But why don't they know it? If we knew this 2 years ago, why didn't they know it? That's what bothers me.
I love K on the radio, Mr. Captain Puppet Big Head. You can't listen to fans. You can't listen to fans. You guys wanted to sign LeMahieu, whatever you want, blank check. You got to sign this guy. You got to sign. Yeah, but Michael, fans are the guys that know what the fuck, like they see without like color glass, like without what's the word, color glasses. Rose, yeah. Fans see it. They know it. Like Yankee fans are very smart. Are they mean and aggressive and rude? Yeah, but they're very smart.
Listen, there's a big difference between listening to every fan
and
then listening to what everyone is. When everyone is saying the same thing, it's a little different than listening to what each fan has to say.
Yeah, do we know every single day what's going on with these guys in practice?
Of course not.
Of course not.
But we know what we've seen. Yeah, we know what we've seen over the last 2 years, and it's not like nobody's been predicting this. It's not like we're the only ones saying it.
Well, right. And so there was a guy.
On the other thing, let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Michael K works for Yes. So
that's the best part, dude.
There's never going to be a day where he's truly going to bash it unless he's been given the green light.
But then guys call him up and they go, you're just kissing ass because you work for your paycheck's got to clear. I don't take sides. They let me say whatever I want. Okay, dude. Yeah, we believe you. Yeah, okay.
I'm sure that's what they tell you, but you're going to tell me he's never been told, hey, man, maybe ease up on this or that.
Yeah. The show's on in the clubhouse. Okay, yeah, that's why you don't bash anybody because the show's on in the clubhouse. Yeah.
And there's a difference between kissing ass or just not covering something or not going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is something that's bothering a lot of people clearly. We're just not going to talk about it. Or I'm not going to make it that big a deal. It's like very politics, right? If you're Fox News or if you're MSNBC, like there's things that they just don't go there. They may not lie about certain things, but they'll leave stuff out intentionally. And it's the same thing with Kay. He works for Yes. He'll say certain things and he'll comment directly on like what happened yesterday or what happened last night. But he's never gonna like haul off like some of the things you hear on the Fan, because the guys that work on WFAN, they're not connected to these teams the way Kay is. He's connected directly. Yes Network is the Yankees. So
and he's the
that's why it's hard to go
too. It's like he's got both things coming out.
Come on, of course. So no trades, right? Am I correct in that? They made no moves.
Well, they stand pat basically on trade deadline day. The strength of this team is their bullpen, and he adds 2 fucking mediocre arms to the bullpen. The weakness of this team is the lineup, and he adds not a soul to the lineup.
Nothing.
So right on cue, what we're saying, dude, I don't understand what is going on with this guy. Like, yeah, and then somebody just sent me an article about, like, they had some deals on the table, getting rid of some expiring contracts. And you're not going to get much. I get it, but maybe make a.
And you're going to have to eat some of that.
Make the fan base at least look like you give a shit. It's become very stale, dude, so fast.
It's just weird because they weren't buyers or sellers. And it's well, what are we doing? We just standing pat? It's
And
just
then
weird.
and then the buying you did do, like, you didn't need, because then you're taking maybe 2 better arms out of your pen now for these guys. Like, I don't know. I don't know
either.
Well, that's the other problem is nobody knows.
Well, that's just the thing.
They're all
right?
looking at each other in the front office like, you got a better idea? Because I don't. Do you have like?
Yeah, it's like you said. Like you didn't address any of your major issues. Nothing.
Say what you want about the Mets, but at least, and listen, I know Cohen has the money to do it. And now all of a sudden Hal has alligator arms, but Cohen made mistakes with Scherzer and Verlander, and he got rid of it. He took on a little bit of money for the first year and a half, whatever it is now, but
yeah,
they're not long-term problems. Yeah, are they going to be bad next year? Probably, but like at least we got Stanton for another 4, Rizzo for another 2, DJ for another 3. If these guys are cooked, what the hell are you going to like? You're screwed, dude. And that's only if the other 6 guys in your lineup are worth a shit.
Why is LeMahieu struggling so much?
I think his foot's still bothering him. I think he should have got that surgery last year. And I think, Paul O'Neill said he could have came in a lot of bad habits trying to protect that foot, and now he can't get at him.
Shit, that does definitely happen. Hey, I wanted to ask you something because I was thinking about analytics the other day and how the game has really just evolved into like try to hit home runs and that's it. And I thought of a handful of players, and I was like, would they even be in the league? Ozzie Smith?
Yeah, it's going.
Would he even be in the league? A punching Judy second shortstop?
Omar Vizquel?
Yeah. What about Ricky Henderson? They don't even steal bases anymore.
Well, he's got speed, and they brought that back a little bit now this year with the throwing over and that's coming back a little bit. And Ricky had a little pop.
He had a little pop. What about
Ricky Henderson? Thanks you. Ricky Henderson's tired.
He always talks.
I love that.
God, I'm totally drawing a blank right now. San Diego Padres, great
Tony
hitter.
Gwynn.
Does Tony Gwynn have a place in today's
I know, because they don't give a shit about average anymore. It's insane.
What about Willie Randolph?
I know. Oh, Rod Carew.
What about Rod Carew? I just look and I say how many great players there were that they were either great defensive players or good hitters but not home run hitters. Would they have a place in this league? And it almost like saddens me. Are we missing out on some really special talent because they're not?
Probably.
We probably are.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Me. I don't like that. I don't think that helps sell the game. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway.
No, it sucks.
My 2 cents on that one.
No, listen. You have everything else? You want to go to trivia?
Tony Gwynn. I mean, Tony Gwynn was like a 350 hitter sometimes.
Me and Eddie were just talking about him like a month ago, dude. The guy
amazing.
I mean, he never had more than like 16 home runs, but the guy raked.
Like average-wise. Year he struck out 3 times. The whole year.
Makes sense.
It's insane.
Rizzo struck out 5 times on Sunday.
In a game. It's nuts. I just to think that a guy like that there could be a Tony Gwynn out there right now, but he's not going to get a chance because he doesn't hit 30 home runs.
I know.
It's sad. It's sad because what a professional he was.
I know.
What a grinder, you know? Ugh. I mean, do we even have like a batting title anymore? It seems like it's doesn't even matter. So it's like the game is incomplete now. This is the problem with analytics is that we don't have, one of the cool things about football and even basketball, there's roles. Linemen are so different than wide receivers, and running backs are so different than corners. And then there's this guy that's out in the middle there as a quarterback that does something that nobody else on the field does. It's just you have these roles, and anybody from any walk of life can possibly fill one of those roles. It's the same with basketball, right? Like there's point guards, there's shooters, there's rebounders, there's defenders, there's tall men, there's small men. It seems like baseball is becoming so like monoclastic, if that's a word. Like it's all they're looking for the same guy all the time. It's like we just get a bunch of Aaron Judges and we'll do great.
I know.
Well, you got that and you suck. So I feel like we're missing out. Or just
they had Judge. He went out and got Stanton. They drafted a kid in college, Spencer Jones, same 6'6", 6'7", like guys.
Cookie cutter, man. Like think of the NBA a little bit. It's coming back a little now because of how Denver did so well playing inside the 3-point line.
Yeah.
But like for the last few years, it's
Philly
been all threes. It's just threes. And it's kind of boring, to be honest with you. And that's coming from a guy who set a county record for 3-pointers in a season in high school. Like, I love the 3, but I don't want can't just watch a 3-point contest every goddamn game. So they got centers shooting threes and power forwards shoot. Like, if you can't shoot a three, you don't have a place in the game. It's like, come on. It just becomes the same thing. I'm watching the same game no matter who plays. And nobody wants it. We like different styles. That's, I think, why you and I like college football so much, is because there's such a wide variety of styles based on talent and who we're competing against and all this kind of stuff,
Yep.
So I feel like baseball is just going in the wrong direction, and that's all because of analytics. And I'll end it there. So, is it time?
Your favorite time.
Oh, here we go. What's the topic this week?
I got to take a sip.
Oh, he's preparing.
College football.
Yes.
All right, Bubs.
Let's go.
This is it.
Let's go.
We got to get you on the right foot for the next couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
What college has had the longest losing streak? SMU, Vanderbilt, Rutgers, or Northwestern?
Like ever?
Ever.
All right. So my initial answer right off the bat is SMU, because they went through that 5-year death sentence, and when they came back, they didn't win shit.
Craig James and all that shit.
Yeah. And then Rutgers just came to mind, because I know they went through a stretch. Who are the other options?
The Vanderbilt
and Northwestern?
And Northwestern.
Because Columbia, you don't have. Remember when Columbia, they went on like a 6-year losing streak. I'm gonna say SMU.
Yeah, they sell insurance though. Fucker. You, my friend, are incorrect.
Damn.
And dude, I threw SMU in there because of that exact reason. I got you to bite.
Such an ass.
It would be the heavily in the news lately Northwestern Wildcats.
Really?
34 games in a row from 79 to 82.
Wow. Okay.
Pete
and you just fired the one coach that's brought you to multiple division champions
over found upon rumors.
So far.
Question number 2.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna salivate with this.
I'm already 0 for 1. It's never good to start 0-1. I need 2 in a row to be
Come back, kid. Right.
Let's try.
In the last 2 decades, that's 20 years.
Thank you.
What college has had the most players drafted? Ohio State, Alabama, USC, LSU.
Alabama, Ohio State, USC, or LSU? I don't think this is where now I'm thinking you're thinking head games.
Pete has thrown something against the wall right now. He is rolling.
Well, because here's what I know. You did it to me with SMU. You're like, he'll be thinking this, so I'm gonna put it in there. And I know you're thinking, he probably thinks I would never have an answer to a question be Ohio State, because I don't want to give them any credit. Okay. But did you think that and then give me a question that the answer is Ohio State? I really want to say LSU. 20 years though.
I love this guy. He's the best thing we did to this show. This is so
20 years is a long friggin' time.
So where does that take us to 2003?
Yeah. When did Saban start at Alabama? 07, 08, something like that?
I think 06.
I mean, USC during the Pete Carroll years, they got everyone drafted. Jesus Christ. I mean, everyone got drafted. I'm going to say LSU.
Oh.
I did it. I blew it again.
It's fucking Ohio State. I did it to you.
You did!
And you had it. I like, he's never going to think I'm going to do it, and I did it.
I can't stand shit.
Dude, I've gotten calls on this. Everyone loves part of the show now. It's like fantastic.
Oh my god!
I know my buddy Steve is probably going laughing right now.
I knew you were fucking with me too, man. Shit.
Dude, and I put the other. Dude, I thought the exact same. I did USC with all those years with Carroll.
Do you have an order for that?
No, I should have looked it up for you too.
Okay.
Dude, I did exactly what you did. That's how much we're like simpatico.
Well, here's the thing, because I'm looking as like Ohio State and LSU to me, other than obviously the Saban years, to me, they're great every year. Like
Right.
multiple coaches, all three of their coaches, I guess it's three, right? Have had NCAA
Jim
championships.
Tressel a year with Luke Fickell, then Urban, then Ryan Day. Yeah, and then
That's Ohio
LSU's had
State. I'm
LSU's
saying
had
LSU.
Les Miles, Ed Orgeron, and there's someone in between that too, right?
Somebody in there. Just like sustained excellence.
Yeah.
You know, for those years before Saban, Alabama was bad.
No, they were awful.
I remember people thinking he was crazy for taking that job.
Yeah.
Because they were like, nobody can turn this program back around. You're never getting back to the old days with Bear Bryant. And he obviously proved them wrong. So, But that's why I thought, like, I'm thinking LSU, because they're like every year, other than maybe 1 year, you know, here or there, but that sustained win, 10, 11 wins every year, and so much talent out of that state. Right?
Yep.
Think of the NFL, like how many guys. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. 0 for 2. Playing these mind games, bastard.
What is the oldest bowl? Cotton, rose, orange, sugar.
Shit. All right. Before you gave me options, I had Rose Bowl in my head. As soon as you gave me options, I think it's the Cotton Bowl. And I'm probably wrong. It's probably the Sugar Bowl. I'm going to say the Sugar Bowl. Damn. What is it?
Why do they call it the granddaddy of them all?
That's a fucking Rose Bowl. I wish you didn't give me an option. Damn it.
0 for 3. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, my God. You have no more? I can't redeem myself? No bonus or extra credit or something?
Yeah, here's one I'll throw you. What's Michigan Stadium's nickname?
Fuck. Dude, this was my worst performance. This was my worst performance.
Dude, seeing the pain on your face. And one day you're going to go 3 for 3, and it's going to be awesome.
Jesus Christ. I will tell you this. There's a football game on tonight. For those who catch us right away, there's a football game on tonight. Hall of Fame game. You're not going to see many starters probably, but you'll see the Jets and the Browns. I got to be honest with you. They're going to play Mekhi Becton 20 to 25 snaps. He doesn't need to be perfect. But this sounds crazy because it's a preseason game. You've only had a week and a half of practice or something like that for these two teams. He has to look good. Like, he has to look competent. And, oh, by the way, don't get hurt. Okay? But that's the only thing I'm paying attention to this game. I want to see Zach Wilson do well.
I heard a rumor that he might not make the team.
Mekhi Becton?
Yeah.
There's no
way.
There's no chance of
that. I didn't think so either.
I mean, anything's possible, but who are they replacing him with? That's the problem.
Is he definitely right tackle now or left?
They're going to have him at right tackle right now. But you think Dwayne Brown's going to finish the season, like start every game? He used to, but he got hurt last year. Had a shoulder surgery. Shoulder surgery is one of those things I cannot get the whole thing out. Like shoulder surgery.
One of those ones through the Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like a mouthful of marbles.
Jesus.
So I'll be watching that tonight for sure. I want to see Zach do well, but I got to see Mekhi Becton show up and look like a player. He's got to look like a player. When he played in his rookie year, he did look like a player. It wasn't perfect, but he looked like a player. Hasn't played in 2 years. So they're counting on him. He has to actually look. It sounds crazy for a preseason game, and offenses are always behind defenses in these preseason games.
Yeah.
Plus the offense they're so vanilla. But he's got to look confident. He's got to look like a player, and he can't get hurt.
I had a coworker take her son. They went out for the weekend. They're going to the game tonight. The ceremony Saturday. Yeah, they're big Jet fans. So
very cool.
Yeah.
And then listen, for those interested, Nate Diaz is fighting Jake Paul, I believe, on Saturday night. I like watching Jake Paul lose, so I'll be rooting for Nate Diaz because I just think it's ridiculous that some YouTube weirdo, somehow people looking at him. Listen, I've watched him fight one time against Tyson Fury's brother or whatever, and he's confident. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's confident. I'm shocked. And his brother, who is in the WWE, let me tell you something. I'm stunned at the quality that he brings. I'm shocked. Like, he's a really good in-ring performer. I'm stunned by that. So I give both of them credit for doing what they're doing. I just don't like it because I think it makes a mockery of boxing. So I hope Nate Diaz lights him up. So I'll be rooting for him. So just a couple things.
Is that on pay-per-view, Pete?
I believe it's a pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm sure it's a pay-per-view. So, and Nate Diaz is a tough son of a bitch, man. If you've ever seen him fight McGregor or some of these other guys in the UFC, he's a tough bastard. So I don't think Logan Paul's going to be knocking him out, and it could go. I would love to see it go the other way. So just a couple things I'll be paying attention to this weekend. So
I like it.
My man, 109 in the books. Very nice. Compact, right to the point.
Before we say goodbye, do you have a preference next week on trivia?
No, I leave.
All right.
No.
Okay, all right.
I gotta bone up. This was poor. This was my poorest performance. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know if I'm a little flushed and red. So
yeah, pour something over ice. You'll feel better.
Yeah, good idea.
There you go.
It'll make me feel better. For Scott Bracey, I'm Pete Colasano. You've been listening to Bump and Run. We'll catch you guys next week.
Happy football kickoff later.
Boom. Dude, literally right on
an hour. That's beautiful.
59 minutes.
I want to talk to you right now about it since I got you. Next week's going to be a little bit of a shit show for me.
Okay.
Can you do Friday next Friday? Can you do?
Of course.
1 o'clock, something early. We'll get out of Dodge and.
I could do it anytime next Friday.
Okay.
Do you have work on Friday?
I got a half day Friday. I have half day Fridays, and I have no Yankee games. So if you want to, Wednesday, Thursday look sharp for me right now. If anything changes Thursday, I'll let you know. But right now, and the week after, if we could do Wednesday, I have a golf thing on Thursday.
Give me a date.
16th. So 17th will be the Thursday. 16th Wednesday, if you can do it.
That might be a problem.
Okay.
Because I think that's the Atlantic City Air Show.
And 18th, I'm no good. I have a Yankee game.
That's the Friday?
Yeah.
And you're no good on Thursday, you're saying?
I have a golf outing. So I could do it later, but I'll be fucking hammered. And that'd be
even more fun. Why don't we'll deal with that as we get closer. But
yeah, listen, maybe we skip one, then we'll do two the next week or two previews, and hopefully there won't be any Yankees and shit.
If the schedule doesn't work, the schedule doesn't work. What are you going to do?
Okay.
We don't work for Fox Sports, so.
Yeah, I'd like to, because I don't like skipping now if we can help it.
Yeah.
All right, next Friday we'll talk. All right, I'll get back to you with that. So we'll definitely have one next week, and then the week after we'll talk, and then after that I think we should be all right. But
that's the plan.
Knock on wood. All right, brother.
My man, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, sir.
I'll have this out tonight. No problem.
Excellent.
All right, later.
Later.